Well, there was also, I don't know if you saw some of the footage from this morning where you weren't there this morning for it at the fence where Black Lives Matter meets the fence. And just a group of the MAGA people came to start tearing down the signs. And this has happened pretty regularly. Yeah. And they started tearing them down and pushing the folks who were protecting the fence. And the police were there and then, grabbing the signs, and they were saying, we have the right to, this is our country, this is our fence. But they were pushing the people out of the way, and the police just stood there. And our folks were saying, hey, intervene, they're pushing us, this isn't, and the police just stood there. So I agree with Ford. I've certainly had a lot of experience in my personal protests where the police won't respond to us. If we're at the big lobby protests of AIPAC and get hit, which happens just about every single year, they will never arrest the people who hit us. Same thing happens happened at the Venezuelan embassy. So yeah, the police really do favor the right-wing folks.
And Ford, you have Trump supporters tear down. You have a clip of that?
So
at the fence, I guess that was last night.
Right. So that happened late last night. There were Trump supporters and Proud Boys who basically marched. So they marched around the city for quite a while. They kind of had perhaps the climax of their evening was they were opening up beers at the base of the Washington Monument. They were chanting, for example, "Break out, Kyle," referring to Kyle Rittenhouse. And from there they moved on
and shouting "4 more beers, 4 more beers."
Yeah, so they were chanting. You're right.
Pretty good, guys. Yeah,
they were chanting 4 more beers. But so many of them were really interested in this idea of taking down stuff from Black Lives Matter Plaza, and so they had been chanting, "Clean the streets, clean the streets." And when they arrived, I will say that the police actually did seem intent on guarding the art on the wall. I think they understood that was a provocative situation.
That was not this morning.
Not right. So from the clips that I've seen this morning, again, I wasn't there this morning, but late last night, the police did not seem interested in allowing the Trump supporters to tear down the stuff from the wall. But so frustrated with that, they actually went to, this is a private business. This is actually like a private property, that they started tearing down the wooden Black Lives Matter boards from the building. So they had, "Our business supports Black Lives Matter," and they tore it off and started stomping on it. And a handful of the Trump supporters actually did say things to the effect of, like, "Wait a second, it's private property. Aren't we acting like leftists?" Was like, I did hear like one of them saying something like that.
That's so funny. It's not like, it's like if we, it's like, some like leftist anti-violence people being like, if we're violent towards people, we're no better than they are. And they're like, if we destroy private property, we're no better than they are.
So there was an interesting moment. There was kind of an exchange where somebody was saying, "But that's private property. We shouldn't be doing this." And the other person responded, "Well, but it says Black Lives Matter. You're defending Black Lives Matter, which is communism. So you're defending communism."
Which is anti-private property. Okay.
So the two people were, it was a very interesting, I mean, it is a fascinating dynamic to see the infighting, where if you're actually protecting the private property, you're an ipso facto communist. Like there's a strange, it's like the picture of the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like with the whiteboard of all the great
sure.
Yeah. So anyhow, the police did eventually realize that this was happening, as you're kind of coming up to on this clip. People took down the boards from the front here, and the police escorted a woman off of the property here, but they did not arrest her. I do think that it's notable.
Oh, there she is, right?
I don't know how audible it is, but they're basically saying that Black Lives Matter is racism. Like,
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
I think that's what they were.
They probably also think African American History Month is racist, right?
So what happened next was actually kind of interesting here as well. So riot police actually did respond to this kind of in riot gear, and they did form a line, as you can see here. The Trump supporters, though, had this gigantic flag that said Trump Law and Order. And because the flag was so large, fully unfurled, the riot police actually like stepped aside, like the parting of the Red Sea. You'll see it
right here.
The cops make way for the thing to go through. So, this is the Medea, I'd like to see you. It would be interesting to see you try the same thing at some point.
Yeah.
There's a riot police are standing in a line. Perhaps you could say, "We have a very large banner. Could you please step aside?"
Well, we do have a huge constitution. That's a great idea.
Oh yeah,
carry that. Yeah,
I'm going to get in trouble if she actually does it, and then
they'd also look back. They'd be anti. They'd be. You should have a huge constitution. Then you should also have like a founding fathers sign, and like if the cops don't let them through, then it's great PR. You're like cops.
Yeah, we have costumes. We have revolutionary costumes. So
there you go.